Welcome, everybody, to What Do You Do with a BA in Theater, presented by Dallas Summer Musical's Education and Community Partnerships Department. My name is Seth Johnson, and I'll be your host for this series. We have a very awesome guest today. Aaron, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Aaron White. I have a BA in Theater from the University of Kentucky, and I act around town, but in my day job, I am a comic book specialist for a auction house.
That is really cool. We're going to get into that for sure. But first, why University of Kentucky? Are you from that area?
I am. I'm from that area, and so I always knew I was going to go to the University of Kentucky. It was just that was just sort of preordained in my life.
Gotcha.
It was great. It's like a lot of colleges. You get out of it what you put into it, but it was great. I mean, after I left, I think within a year, all the people I graduated with, we all moved to New York together and, pursued careers in New York, and there was good education.
Yeah. So you went in knowing that you wanted to pursue acting. What kind of led you to that path growing up?
I was kind of late getting into theater. It wasn't until late in high school that I started on speech team and auditioning for plays, and specifically with UK, I was the lead in a production of Dark of the Moon, which is kind of a Appalachian show. I don't know. It's hard to explain. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in that show. Anyway, we took it in competition, and the dean of UK's theater program saw me in that. And as part of my going to my high school theater classes, you had to go to see plays, and the only real plays that you could go see, a lot of them were at the University of Kentucky, and the dean saw me there and recognized me and kind of recruited me. Because at that point, I was like, I didn't really see theater as something that would be a viable path for me. I was thinking, I like to write, I'd like to go into journalism. That was where I was kind of moving. So I made a quick change, told my parents, I'm out of journalism, I'm into theater, and it was a great decision.
Yeah, and then you made the move to New York. What was that move like, and what did you do in New York to survive and help you out during those audition periods?
I worked a lot of jobs. I was temping. I had a day job at a TGI Fridays. I was working at the New World Stages. I started out ushering, and then I started bartending, and then I ended up working their stage door for a couple of years. So it was just I had a lot of irons in the fire, but that was kind of what I had to do to make the scheduling work for being able to go to auditions, being able to go to calls, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, what was that audition like? The audition process is like up there in New York when you were there?
I mean, it was a lot of getting early, signing up, waiting, going in for, you get a couple of minutes in the room with somebody who's seen 50 people and they're going to see 1,000 more. It's a grind. It really is. I think that you have to you've got to make up your mind that this is something that you're going to focus on, because when you're in a big market, everyone who's in that big market has made that same decision that they want to succeed. And there's a limited.
Oh, you froze. Hold on.
Win it. And that can be a challenge. You just kind of have that in your mindset every day, that this is what I'm doing. I'm here to make a career.
Gotcha. So what made you move from New York, and what brought you into the comic book world?
Well, I met my wife, Ashley, in New York, and we dated for about 3 or 4 years, and we decided that we wanted to get married. And at that point, she had made a decision that she needed to move to Dallas to be close to her family. And she just had, relatives that weren't in the best of health, and she needed to be close by. And so we made that choice. And for me, I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do because I was completely unfamiliar with Dallas, Fort Worth, the whole area. But there is a place here in Dallas, Heritage Auctions, which is the leading comic book auctioneer. Like, they sell more comic books and comic book art than everybody else. And so I kind of fell into it because I didn't realize exactly what would be available to me. And so I got this job, which is kind of weird because my resume was not a corporate resume. Like I said, it was restaurants and stage door, and that generally doesn't cross over. But I've always loved comics, and I've always had a good memory for them, for the important ones, and why they're valuable and why people want them and read them. So I was able to kind of talk my way into not an apprenticeship, but kind of an apprenticeship where you learned how to value and grade and process high value collectibles. So I've been doing that now. Let's see, I started that job in May of 2008, and I'm still there. And it's been a really great job. I think that if I wasn't going to be an artist and be an actor, this is what I would like to do instead. And so I'm very blessed that I kind of fell into it.
That's awesome. So what have you taken from the job at the auction house, and how has that helped you how has that helped you on stage as an actor and a performer? And I guess vice versa too. How has life in the theater helped you in the auction house?
Listening has been the biggest thing that I've been able to cross over between the two. Because at the end of the day, when I'm at work, I'm talking to people who have objects that have a lot of importance to them. Either they're financially important, or they belong to someone that they loved and that person's gone. And so now there's this object that they've kind of transferred some of that affection into. But this is, people love to collect things for various reasons. They're capturing their youth, it's, what have you. So you have to know why someone thinks something's important, and you've got to be able to communicate that to someone else. And so that's been the biggest thing for me. And it's that's a lot of sales too. Like, if you're in a sales job, you have to be able to hear someone. What do they want? What's important to them? What can you offer them that's going to solve whatever problem that they have?
Gotcha.
But in terms of theater, it's a lot of listening. Obviously. Yeah. I think early on, when I was studying, there was a lot of, I am going to walk onto stage and I'm going to say things in this way, and it's going to sound really cool, and everyone's going to love me, and I'm going to get a good review. And, it's unlearning those sorts of things and learning that it's not about you. It's about creating art, telling a story, listening, reacting, being honest, grounding yourself. And all those are things that in one way or another I've been able to bring along with me. So it's actually been quite valuable.
Yeah. So as an expert, do you have a favorite comic book or series that you just absolutely love?
I think for me, it's what is fun to see. And a lot of what is fun is crazy rarities, things that just don't come across very often. There was a book in the 50s, an ex-Smiths Comics, that had green felt on the cover printed on it, which I think that's cool because you never see that. Or there would be promotional books for like toy stores. And so there was a copy of a book that came through, it was called Wanamaker Toy Funnies. And it's a book that the Overstreet Price Guide, which is how we look up a lot of information on comics, we didn't have anything on it because no one had ever really seen them.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like a thing. And so like holding this book that no one has ever really seen, and it might be the only time that I ever see it, even though it's not super valuable, maybe it's a couple $2,000, $3,000, which is not cheap, but it's not, it's not like expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool. But I guess 1960s Marvels, Journey of Mystery, Tales of Suspense, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. Early Fantastic Four is awesome. Like Jack Kirby's doing like this like killer art. The stories are ridiculous. The villains are ridiculous. I love it.
Have you ever thought about kind of like adaptation work with comics, like a little Spider-Man turn off the dark action kind of thing?
That would be cool. Yeah, I don't know how you would do that. I don't know, maybe you could do something really immersive. Do like a Batman immersive dark alley theater thing. I don't know. I'll meditate on it though.
Okay, cool. Season 4 of Imprint. I wanna see one of those. Awesome. So Aaron, before we wrap up, I've just been asking everybody if they can go back and talk to their high school self. What's one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Oh, okay. So college is great and you're going to love college, but then you're going to graduate college and you're going to love that. And then you're going to get into kind of a groove in your life and career, and you're going to love that. And every step of the way, it's going to be different, but it's all awesome. And so just kind of anticipate the next thing that's coming, make a plan for it, and know that it's going to be awesome and you're going to really enjoy it. Just take some of that pressure off of yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Especially nowadays, there's so much pressure for at universities, and then when you graduate, pressures in life. And I think that kind of
right.
that everything's gonna work out if you put that energy out into the world is a good thing to have. It is a lot easier said than done, but definitely.
And that's definitely true. But that's always something that I've always fought against, is this anxiety and this feeling that I've got to be perfect at this and I've got to succeed at this. And you can get good at something later on, or maybe instead of taking a couple of years to get good, it's going to take you 10 years to get good. And that's fine. It all comes out at the end of the day, I think.
That's true. Well, Aaron, thank you so much. At this point of our video, we're going to insert a musical guest who will sing a little song, and it'll go right here.
Safe behind these windows and these parapets of stone, gazing at the people down below me. All my life I've watched them as I hide up here alone, hungry for the histories they show me. All my life I've memorized their faces, knowing them as they will never know me. All my life I've wondered how it feels to pass a day not above them, but part of them. And out there, living in the sun, give me one day out there. All I ask is one, to hold forever out there, where they all live unaware. What I'd give, what I'd dare, just to live one Out there among the millers and the weavers and their wives, through the roofs and gables I can see them. Every day they shout and scold and go about their lives, heedless of the gift it is to be them. If I were in their skin, I'd treasure every instant out there, strolling by the sand. Taste of morning out there, like ordinary men who freely walk about there just one day, and then I swear I'll be content with my share. Won't resent, won't despair, old and bent, I won't care. I'll have spent one day out there.
And that was incredible. Thank you, musical guest. Thank you again, Aaron, for your time and for sharing your story with us. Viewers out there, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. We are here for you. We're happy to help. Send us an email if you have anything you want to see in these series. And just remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and have a wonderful day.
Awesome.